Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. So we are from 8th group. We would like to present our topic. It's about assessing needs. And our group consists of 4 persons, 4 people. They are Salsabila F, Salzu Clarisa, Septian Garin P, and Siti Fajriah. And our topic is about need assessment. Okay, and the first topic will be explained by myself. So the first one is about the role of need assessment in the development of a course. Before discussing about the role of needs assessment, we have to understand first about the definition of needs assessment itself. Well, needs assessment is a systematic process of gathering information that is appropriate and sufficient to develop an effective educational program that will address the students' needs and wants. On the other hand, it means finding out the gap. According to the definition of needs assessment, I can say that the role of needs assessment is kind of essential, uh, it is used to help teacher. This determines the gaps that can exist in either students' knowledge, practices, or skills. And then knowing what is working and what needs to be changed is crucial to progress effectively toward students' learning goals. Conducting needs assessment is needed to be understood as something that teachers can see and do as a part of teaching. So it is based on the belief that learning is not simply a matter of students absorbing pre-selected knowledge that the teacher gives them, but it is a process in which students and teacher can and should participate each other and accordingly. And we can assume that needs are multifaceted and changeable. When needs assessment is used and as an ongoing part of teaching, it helps students to reflect on their learning, to identify their needs, and to gain a sense of ownership and control of their learning. Uh, So after discussing about the meaning of needs assessment and the role of needs assessment, so we can conclude that the result of needs assessment will guide teacher to achieve what is it subsequent enough decisions, including the design, implementation, and evaluation of educational programs that will lead to achieve desired results. Well. And then the next one is about the process uh, of needs assessment. So there are 7 processes cycles of needs assessment, such as deciding what information to gather and why. So the first step is we have to decide the objectives of our needs assessment and the student's background. And the second one is deciding the best way to gather it. And it means we have to decide when our needs assessment will be conducted, how it will go, and how long it takes. And then select students who will be our target participants to gather the information from them. And the third one is gathering the information. So after knowing the best way to conduct our needs assessment, then we need, we have to gather the required information from the target participants. For example, it can be information about what the students need to learn and what the students want to change. However, uh, we should not gather too much information because it can make us overwhelmed or confused with the data and unsure of what to do with it. Last, and then we have to gather information from that we know we can use it. We sure we can use the information we got and be effective and wise on gathering the required data. The fourth one is what is it? Oh, interpreting the information. And the fifth one, acting on the information. It means we have to create an educational program based on the information from target participant that we have asked earlier. The sixth one is evaluating the effects and effectiveness of the action. We have to evaluate the program, finding out the effects and effectiveness of the program towards students' learning goal. And the last one, it is deciding on further or new information together. So we must decide whether our needs assessment meet the required data or not. If it doesn't meet the required data, we have to restart our needs assessment process. Meanwhile, if it meets the required data, the next process must be conducted. So this process are cycles. The process is cyclical, and it means it can be repeated throughout the course at various time, depending on what the students want to know. And the next one is about what areas of needs assessment address. Need assessment can lead into decisions about what kind of course will be taught to the students, how the course will be taught to the students, and how the course will be evaluated. For a course to meet students' needs, it is necessary to gather information about the current state of the students, such as their language ability, learning preferences, and the desired goals or change. And then a course is used to make a progress towards students' desired or what is it? Change their learning goals. So that's all from me. And then the next topic will be delivered by my friend. Time yours. Time is yours. Go on.
Sa- Yes, I would like to continue the presentation. Uh, Now, I would like to explain the types of information that can be gathered when assessing needs we can gather information about. Next, next. There are two kinds of the assessing needs. The first one is for the presence, and there are 6 points. And the second one is the future, and there is 4 points. In the presence, the first point is who the learners are. Second, the learner's level of language proficiency. The third is the learner's level of intercultural competence. The fourth is their interest. The fifth is their learning preference. And the sixth, their attitudes. And for the futures, in the eighth, the learners or others involved, goals and expectation. Ninth, the target context, situation, roles, topics, and content. 10 types of communicative skills they will need and tasks they will perform. 11 language modalities they will use. Okay, next next I would like to explain the presence. The first point is who the learners are. What is their age, gender, educational background, profession, and nationality? It is a multicultural or single culture group. What language do they speak? This information can help provide the background for the remaining question. For example, we will ask for or interpret information differently if the students are children or adults, literature in their first language or not, of mixed nationality or of one nationality. The second point is the learner level of language proficiency. What is their level of proficiency in each of the four skills in the target language speaking, listening, reading, and writing, with respect to grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, functional skills? Are they literate in their own language? This information can help to make choice about the kinds of text to use, which skills to develop, which elements or grammar to emphasize, and so on. Next, and next, and third point, the learner's level of intercultural competence. What is their experience in the target or in older characters? What is their level of understanding and skills with respect to sociocultural and sociolinguistic aspects of the target language and differences with their own language? This information can help to make choice about the kind of material to use and the sociolinguistic and sociocultural skills to develop and emphasize. The first point is their interest. What topics or issues are they interested in? What kinds of personal and professional experience do they bring? This information can help teachers to gear the course towards students experience in interest in the absence of specific target. See the it can help teacher design the course around topics and will engage the learner. Next is 5 points. Next, their learning preferences. How do the learners expect to be taught and tested? How do they prefer to learn? How well do they work in groups? What role do they expect the teacher to take? What calls do they expect to take? This information can help teachers to know whether the learners will be comfortable with certain kids of activities or will need to be taught or to do them. For example, so how to work cooperatively with each other. It will help to know how to set up activities or what kinds of bridge will need to be built between students' expectation of how they should learn and the teacher approach and belief. Six is their attitude. What is their attitude towards themselves as learners? What is their attitude toward the target language and cultures? This information can help teachers to know whether the learners feel confident about using the target language and are comfortable with making mistakes, feel positive about being in the classroom, information about what the learners need to learn and want to change. I'm sorry, there are so many typos in my next is the features, the learners or the involved goals and expectation. Why are they taking up course? What are their goals? What are they expect? This information can help to shape goals and also to alert learners to what is realistic within the constraints of the culture of the course. The age is the target constraint, situation, roles, topic, and content. In what situation will they use English beyond the classroom? Who will they use English with? What topics will they need to be able to communicate about, or what content will they need to know? For example, is if they are university student, will they be in lecture, seminar, dormitories? If they are business people, with whom will they transact business of and about what if they are immigrants, where and with whom they will use the target language. And next, in number 9, types of communicative skill they need and tasks they will perform. Will what purpose are they using the language? Will they need to understand and give directions? Will they need to give and get information on the telephone? Will they be listening to lectures? Will they need to pursue clients? Will they be talking or to their children's teachers? And the last point is language the modalities they will use. Do they need to speak, read, listen, and or write in the target language? And next, Dennis Lawson needs assessment plan for advanced composition. It is for her advanced composition class at a university extension program in the United States. And there are first point is letter to students. I or Dennis uh, will introduce the importance of feedback in my introductory letter. Second is write case history as the homework assignment for the first day of class. Students will write case histories to their experience, writing in their native language and in English. Third is personal goals and objective. Students will set 3 to 5 goals for the course and track their progress in a daybook. Fourth is questionnaire. Questionnaire is in initial, midterm, and final. In initial, in the first week, students will answer short survey question about possible goals for the course to prepare them to write their own goals and objective. Second one is in midterm. The midterm questionnaire prompts students to reflect on progress towards meeting their course goals. In finals, students assess their progress towards reaching their goals and use fluidness and various aspects of the course, materials, activities, teacher feedback, and etc. in helping them reach them. And next point is anonymous feedback cards. In order to encourage students to respond honestly, it is important to include opportunities to provide anonymous feedback. In sixth point is in-class discussions. It is also important to have in-class discussion regarding students' responses to the course. It provides students to the opportunity to hear their peers' views. In addition, the popcorn quality of dialogue may generate some new ideas. And the seventh point is student-teacher conference. As a student, I benefited enormously from teacher-student conferences and as much as possible, would like to make them a part of my teaching as well. I plan to dedicate half of to my terms classes to one-on-one conferences during class with the emphasis of students' progress towards their goals. I would offer an optional follow-up conference shortly before the end of the course. The next is the last material is Chris Conley needs assessment plan for adult education class. It's designed for his adult education course for immigrants in the United States. Next, the first one is find someone who in this activity student develop question to ask their order and find people in the class who answer yes to the questions. These activities can access student linguistic abilities, reforming questions, asking and answering them orally, and also assess their pronunciation. Second one is letter of explanation. This letter explains what we will be doing in this course, my initial expectation, student or teacher roles, and a description of the approach. The third one is mind mapping. I or Chris in here give a word that is somewhat loaded like class, teacher, student, home, food, America, and have them to do a group mind map around the word. I can assess student capacity to generate words, their vocabulary, or the freedom of or lack of freedom they feel in speaking out in class. And the next, and the fourth point is paragraph about self. The student and I write a paragraph about ourselves to share with the class. And the last point is participatory cycles. The cycles is a form of ongoing needs assessment because it is based on student needs. The teacher listens for issues and student face. And issues is addressed. Teacher and students negotiate their language needs with respect to the issues and as well as how to resolve it or not through action of some kind. I think that's all from me. The next is well presented with by my friends. Thank you.
Mm. Okay, the next is need assessment activities. Next, when should one do needs assessment? There are three time frames for gathering information. The first one is pre-course. The first point is help to pinpoint the, the slide before. Bukan yang ini. Sebentar deh, ada yang kelewat kayaknya. Okay, next. Next. How to no. Yang tadi. Okay, the first point is how to pinpoint specific areas of strength and weakness. And the second point is how to determine what needs to be addressed in given course. And second is initial needs. The initial needs takes place during the initial stage of course, the first few sessions, the first week or weeks, and depending on the time frame of the course. The kind of information gathered prior to teaching a course can also be gathered during the first few class sessions. And the third is ongoing. Ongoing needs assessment takes place throughout the course. One advantage of ongoing needs assessment is that is grounded in shared experiences, and those can be focused on changing the course as a progress. It helps to determine whether what is being taught, how it's being taught, and how it is being evaluated are effective for the students. And you may need to change the or adjust the mm, activities depend final in ongoing assessment. Students are asked to reflect on something they have done and to base their assessment and suggestion on this current experience. Next, um, ways of doing need assessments. Split the assessments into three sections. The first section is written questionnaire. Um, the purpose in using the questionnaire is uh, was to get some background information from the students, and the writer asked the students to write as much as they could in English, but the what did you do today, and what are you doing to this weekend, and the writer explained this process to the entire students' body, and then began to ring to students one by one and record them. And second one is an oral interview. The writer's oral interviews have been constantly in interrupt because beneath referrals and questions from confused students. And the writer's opinion, perhaps it's better to take a video or voice record for the documentation. And third ways, the third way is um, class activity. In this part was perhaps the most successful because with an even greater is the writer could discern who had no or little things and who had prior instruction. The writer also could see how each participant interacted in small and large group settings. It was also the most satisfying and comfortable activity they did at the day. And it made the writer think of how I could use in this type of assessment tool and to get a better idea of what the students wanted and needed. The statement, a teacher is it most prepared to teach a class of their and has been taught is equally valid for needs assessment. And next, according to John Coslick, he captured that some of the benefits and feasible of initial needs assessment. The first is the information gathered can help uh, or shape the course, can help course and shape the course right from the start to meet learners' need. Second, initial needs assessment activities signal to the learners' uh, teacher's intention to engage them in the dialogue and this is about their learning. However, an initial needs assessment activities may not necessarily and give one of the information desired as John learner's experience is list. The learners may not be mm, sure how to respond to the question either because they don't understand them or don't have the language to respond or haven't thought about them or don't want to of the teacher, and for this reason it is important to not to give up after the first try because being responsible for thinking about one's needs and how to meet them is a skill that may take the learner's time to develop. Next, framework for designing needs assessment. The first is what information does it gather. The second is who is involved and why. The third is what skills are necessary to carry out and preparation needed. In other words, are the students familiar with this type or activity or do they have to tell how to do it? And the fourth is the activity feasible given the level and number of your students and how could you adapt it? And fifth is the activity focused only on gathering information which you will analyze or does it also ask students to first identify problems and solution and the second is identify the priorities and the last one is how will the teacher and learners use this information. Okay, thank you. That's all for me. And the last mm, present by Salju.
Okay, we're going to the next materi. that is need assessment activities that can be used once or can be regular activities. Okay, the first one is questionnaire. Okay, it is the most obvious choice for need assessment. That maybe there is how do we can do question that make sure how well student understand the kind of information of the content of learning. Maybe that is the purpose of the questionnaire activities. We can know the right answer or not if student understand the information of the course. And then the second ones of the need assessment activities in interview. Interview can be from teacher to student or student to student. That is the activities we can ask any information that can we gather information about needs that student wants. And for the next activities is writing activities. Writing activities is served by Pareto of our need assessment is like that. We can assess the proficiency of student, like diagnose strengths or weakness that student have. Student can write their weakness or that another information like target, why the reason taking of course is like on they put on the written text, so the teacher can assess the need assessment of them. And then this next activities is a good chart of a list. Okay, here the activities student should make a list or make chart about the information about their partners, maybe like their partner background, interest, target, or learning preference. That is, and then next group discussion. Group discussion is about to making discussion. No, no, no. Still, okay. Group discussion. Group discussion is that to make different point of view from among students. We can do a discussion from student activities that can sharing about their needs in the course, that what their needs about their target, maybe the learning style, maybe that another's interest. Okay, and then the last need assessment activities are ranking activities. Student can make a ranking of the English use, that which one is most important and the least important from the top and the bottom ranking. Okay, next slide. Okay, ongoing with assessment activities is the continue the activities. Next, regular feedback session. Regular feedback session is there about the opportunities for learner, making a reflection about the course, like the view what has they productive or that what they learn, reflect on their skill, maybe this about the what is make helpful of them, the content, what the content they want to change, it's more suitable for them, that is reflect on the course. Next, next is there is the there is still oh, okay, maybe the uh, okay, maybe I will explain about others. The others activities is dialogue journals. Maybe there is left slide. Dialogue journals is about the student write regular on weekly journal. They can write any content that has been done by them or in the course. They make journal every weekly. And another activity is learning logs or learning diaries, like making a record student about what they learn, and then making progress, what has been progress they get, like, and then planning about learning the course, that this week I learned blah 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 blah, and then next week I want to learn about blah 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 blah, and then also I have learned my new words, that is the words is are blah 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 blah, that is the learning diaries. learning diaries. Sorry. And then next report portfolio, that is collection student work that can be need assessment for teacher about the evaluation about needs of student to making improve of the course. And then the last is participatory process. The learning at the course need assessment is planned to making requires to consider about some kind of information, and then the activities that you plan making needs and interest about the student wants. Uh, so that the conduct this activity it should be making based on the planning and needs about the interest student. Okay, maybe that's is the I can deliver for you. Thank you very much for your attention. And
So that's all from our group. Hopefully, our presentation will be beneficial for all of you guys. And thank you for watching. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye.